Tell you what, I can't see shit out of this thing. Let's play the intro music. Oh yeah, motherfuckers. Oh yeah, welcome, motherfuckers, one and all. Male, female, all of the above. I don't give a fuck. Welcome to the movie mass. We celebrating Halloween, and I gotta take this thing off now because I just opened a beer, so I have to remove this $7 Walmart mask. Thank you very much, because I can't actually drink a beer while wearing the mask. But
No, you really can't. I'm the girl from Bird
Box,
Box. Yeah, that's that
yeah,
movie.
man. Sandra Bullock, dude.
Oh, Sandy Bullock.
What up? Welcome, all you motherfuckers, to Movie Mass. I am your host, Jason Nami. I am joined by my good pal over here, my buddy, my co-host on the New England Natives podcast. His name is Tom Buno. I love
You
a
like
pun.
that?
I love a pun.
I wish I was as clever as the guy from The Simpsons. Look, guys, like you remember the end of every single Treehouse of Horror episode, they would always do like Matt Groening or like James Hell Brooks. Like I don't have a cool enough one, so I had to be Tom Boo. No, so that was it. That was my take.
I think Tom Buno is pretty good though. Buno, yeah, I like it. I still dig it. It's in the vein of the Simpsons, the Treehouse of Terror, or whatever they called it.
Treehouse of Horror, which
whatever. I'm no expert.
No, you don't have to be an expert, but you should get it right out of respect.
Out of respect,
yeah, of course.
Do my research before I hit go live. I'm sorry, I am fucking retarded.
To be fair, that was a curveball. I didn't say hey Jason, by the way, I'm gonna throw a lobber at you for fucking Treehouse of Horror episodes. You're just all right, let's talk horror movies.
Yeah, you're supposed to discuss the offhand references that you're gonna make in the episode, motherfucker.
Sure. So do we bring up the fact that we tried this once? We're going to now since I did it.
We can, yeah. You did. So let's barrel ahead. Let's mention it. We did. This is a take 2, everybody. For those of you who are unlucky enough to see the first one, the audio was fucked, and I blame my mixer. And I haven't been doing this for 7 years, and I'm definitely not a guy who graduated with a master's degree and a 4.0. I'm an idiot.
You're not an idiot. You definitely we're expecting something, and you even said up front, you're like, so there's been some funky stuff going on my computer lately, blah blah. Like I just really did this update, and because of it, it just kind of went to the wayside. That's fine though, because I was sleep deprived. I wasn't very happy like that episode, and not about us. Like I'm always happy.
Are you happier now, just in general, than you were?
Oh yeah, I got some. I was super sick the other day, and I got so much sleep.
So nice.
Much, dude. That very uncomfortable, sweaty to you. I woke up, got sick, went back to bed, slept until about noon, woke up just in time for my wife to call me and be like, hey, go pick up the kids off the bus. I was like, totally will. Fell back to sleep. Terrible. Woke up when they showed up at my house. Woke up for about 10 minutes, went back to bed. Awesome kids. I had to put a blankie over me at that point. Woke up at 6 when everybody else got home. Hung awake until 9ish, and then I went back to bed. And then the next day I was like, oh, fucking, you needed that. You needed that so much.
Sometimes you just need to catch up, especially when you're ill. When you're ill, that's all you can do is just fucking rest as much as you can. And I will say, you are right. You have remarkably, unexpectedly normal children and family. I mean, that probably comes across as a backhanded insult, but every time we talk about our families and you talk about some family shit you were doing and the kids and they put a blankie on you and all that sweet shit, I'm always like, he's got such a sweet, normal family.
Most days.
Yeah.
Thank you for the compliment. Don't worry. One day when your kids are old enough to, they will try to cover you and smother you with things too.
I'll put a pillow over my head and I'd be like, let's see what he's left us in the will. We're going to find out today.
So why don't we jump right back into because I had a really lackluster I had a real lackluster answer for a question you asked me. You were asking me which movies are inherently Halloween based, and that doesn't mean what scary, because my answer was like all scary movies are Halloween based. Jason, it'd be fucking stupid.
I think just about any Halloween movie or any scary movie is a valid thing. I mean, you can watch whatever you want whenever you want, right? That's the beauty of owning a fucking 1,000 DVDs. So yeah, I mean, like the point of today's episode is really to talk to you about like what are the films that you like to watch, like that are like Halloween to you.
So the movies that are Halloween to me, in a really simple way, it is obviously horror films. It's anything that's
Yeah,
Halloween centric. If it has to do within the days of Halloween, I kind of throw that up in there. That obviously being like
yeah,
the Halloween towns, the
yeah,
Hocus Pocuses, the Halloween tree, the Nightmare Before Christmases. Any of those things are inherently Halloween.
yeah.
With Nightmare Before Christmas being the exception, where I really don't care about it that much at all, and I don't understand. Like, I know this is this is sacrilegious, but like,
You're
I don't really
blasting.
like. I don't like it anymore. Like, do you
Yeah.
still go? Is that still your go-to?
It is. It's not. A. Not only is it not a go-to, it
Mm.
never was. And
Ooh.
I think the YouTube algorithm is going to smother this video just like my daughters are going to smother me in my sleep in the future to acquire their inheritance early. But I actually feel like it's because our generation of kids that were young when Nightmare Before Christmas came out, I feel like that generation is now adults that are like buying things and taking their kids to Disney and stuff like that. It's tremendously popular these days in a way that it wasn't 15, 20, 25, 30 years ago.
Mm.
And I will say that it's never really been a staple for me. I've never known what to do with it because it's like half a Halloween movie, but it's also half a Christmas movie. And it's like, what do I do? Split the difference and watch it on like November the 23rd? Or like what am I supposed to fucking do with this movie? Is it Halloween? Is it Christmas? I don't want to watch a Halloween movie in in December, and I don't want to watch a Christmas movie on October 28th. So I just feel like I don't know what to do with that movie.
Well, I think that it's like the beginner's guide to being an edge lord. I think it's what it is. Like
Uh-huh.
kids that are angsty and they just kind of want to like they feel like they want people to think they're outcasty. They're like, no, I like
Yeah,
Halloween and Christmas, bro. That type of thing. It's like how they
yeah,
get attention nowadays. Now, that is not to take away from the beautiful stop motion animation that is
yeah.
Nightmare Before Christmas. It really is a beautiful looking movie, but like after
Visually,
you
it's incredible. Yeah,
it really is. It is master Danny Elfman. Like there's so much going for it. Like really, there is. But I don't ever put it in my fucking must
yeah,
watch Halloween playlist. It doesn't
yeah.
even like
No.
make the top like 30. I did watch something that actually kind of ticks both boxes, but a movie that takes place on Halloween and is really fucked up. And it's something that I've been ignoring for some time. I was talking to you about it the
Yeah,
other day. I
yeah.
played Terrifier 1 and 2 finally.
Nice.
It
I have
was
not seen those films either. I hate to admit it now. People are going to say, "What the fuck are you doing talking about Halloween movies? You haven't even seen Terrifier." And I'm sorry, I haven't.
I don't know if you have to. It's definitely okay. These are things going for Terrifier. It is a complete polar opposite of Nightmare Before Christmas. Let me tell you that much for fucking freezies.
Yeah,
Whereas Nightmare Before Christmas had a massive budget, you know, all the Disney backing, blah 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 blah. This thing had zero fucking budget,
yeah.
but does something that nothing has done to me in a long time. I don't know if it was the sickness that kind of played part into it, but it gave me a nightmare, which was kind of fucked up.
No shit.
Well, so
All right.
Terrifier, it started off on All Hallows Eve. It's like a 3 short movie type thingy. It almost, you know, it has like the same character. Art the Clown is the main character of Terrifier. Art
Yes.
the Clown was in All Hallows Eve. That was like the thing that started this whole thing.
Yeah.
And so I watched Terrifier 1 because my buddy was watching it at work. And that's what he does when he works. He was watching Terrifier 1 at work, and he's like, "Bro, you haven't seen this yet? Like, what the fuck? Get on the train." And I was like, "All right, let me fucking see what's going on." So it was on Amazon Prime 1 and 2, and I was like, "Oh fuck, I have no excuse not to watch it." Now,
Yeah.
I love 70s, 80s gore fest. I think they're
Yeah.
fucking awesome. The
Yeah.
Dawns of the Dead, the Cannibal Holocaust, things like that. Those, you know, were really definitely me as a kid. And it does that. It's definitely
Yeah.
gore for gore's sake. It is definitely very involved with it. Like, and it kind of does that thing about the original Halloween that I love the most. Like, the thing I don't really particularly care for the rest of the Halloweens, I still watch them. Don't get me wrong, let me just throw it out there. I still watch them. Is I like Halloween 1 because Michael Myers has no motive. He
Yeah.
has no reason. He is just the shape. And the shape just happens upon fucking these three like babysitting chicks on his way to get back to his fucking house, which is where he started this whole thing about stabbing his sister, Judith Myers, the
Yeah.
sister, not anything else. And then he just happens to come across Laurie Strode and her fucking buddies, and then fucking, he tries to kill them all. Donald Pleasance rolls up and he's like, "Oh, it's the devil's eyes," and things like that. But like,
Yeah.
generally speaking, has nothing to do with anything. That's what Terrifier does, and does it horrifyingly well. Art the Clown has no motive. He just rolls up, and that is what he does. And he just starts fucking murdering girls with the most reckless abandon, the most graphic gore I have seen in so long. There's a scene with a hacksaw and a girl hanging upside down that I was just like, whoa.
Does he start at the vagina? Does he start at the
Oh,
camel
yes,
toe
he
and just
does. Yes,
does
he
it show
does.
the vagina?
Not really, kind of, maybe a tiny bit, like nothing serious. Like they don't like by the way, Bush. They just kind of like they start on her, she's upside down naked, she's in boobs or whatever, and then like he walks up to her, and then they kind of show from like the backside of the butt cheeks, and he puts a saw down, like, and it doesn't show setting it on it. That'd be a little too,
Yeah.
I'm not sure how many ladies would actually like dig that sort of thing, but like
It is kind of
then he
tough to watch. Like watching some girls get her flip flops like sawed off, and
bro, he turns her whole body into some flip flops. It was very intense.
I see.
So much so that my daughter was like on the way to school this morning. She's like, "Can I watch?" I was like, "Nope, you cannot."
Oh no. No. Okay. All right. That raises a question for me that is like not entirely related. Uh you mentioned Hocus Pocus earlier.
Hmm.
The family films, you're also a man with children. I am a man with children. For our viewers out there that may not be familiar with us, we have children. My children are considerably younger than yours. Mine are 5 and 2.5. So
Mhm.
obviously, when you're a parent, you have to sort of gauge the appropriateness of the things that your kids are watching, right? Like,
Mm.
you don't want them to be exposed to wacky shit. And, you don't want them to wake up in the middle of the night screaming is a big thing for me too. Like, I don't want them to be terrified because I showed them something that I really dig, but it's like something that scared the shit. Like, Little Shop of Horrors scared the fuck out of me as a kid. My mom was like, "Oh, you should watch this because it's a musical and it's funny." But like, I was too young. I was like 7. I didn't
Mm.
understand. I was like 6 or something. I didn't get that this is a comedy, it's a musical. Like that stuff went over my head, and I was just like, "Oh my God, terrifying plant with really large teeth eating people." I just watched it eat a man who walked backwards into it, and it ate him. And I was just scared as shit. I had nightmares about this plant for years. And
Mhm.
so I don't want to do that to my kids, obviously. You're probably in the same boat. All of that is to say, at what point, at what age did you first show your kids Hocus Pocus? Like
Very
entry
early.
level shit.
That was like the very first thing. Like that, Never Before Christmas, anything that's
Yeah.
like not even if it's got a PG rating, I kind of base it off. I feel like the government's really done my work for me as a parent,
Yeah.
Jason. I'm like what's the what's the ratings, guys? Hey, what's okay from this show? Which is kind of
Yeah.
fucked up because
It's
like
the MPAA and the
yeah, NBA.
ratings board. The MPAA is actually not a part of the government. It's actually a part of the film industry. It's like the guilds and stuff. Like you got the directors guilds and the actors guilds and stuff. So it's like an industry organization. It's one of those
Yeah.
things like they didn't want the government to police them, so they create this rating system that if they police themselves, then it keeps government regulation off of their ass. So
Mhm.
that's the general idea.
I think the government runs everything, Jason. I mean, I know it makes me sound a little
100%. Is this
conspiracy
about to
theory.
become a conspiracy show now?
It
Because
really is. It really is. Let's welcome our
let's
first
do it.
guest.
Let's get fucking wild
What was that
because
guy's
I
name?
love me some fucking conspiracies. But
The frogs.
my daughter's 5, my oldest daughter. I think she can probably handle Hocus Pocus,
Yeah.
probably. But there are some times where we'll be watching something and she'll get kind of scared, like if someone's in danger,
Mhm.
like, and even if it's not like you know, as an adult, you're watching, you're like, they're not gonna fucking whack this person out. They're the main character, right? Like, this is a PG movie. It's the Goonies. Like, yeah, I know the adults are trying to kill the kids, but it's like they're the kids. They survive. Well, my 5-year-old doesn't have enough knowledge to know that. But it's like, so when someone's in danger, sometimes it'll like she gets a little bit like that. And there is plenty of that in Hocus Pocus. So I'm a little bit worried, like, you know, maybe it's gonna freak her out. And I showed her the just the other day, I showed her the music video for This Is Halloween, you know, the song from
Oh
Nightmare
yeah.
Before Halloween. It was stuck in my head, and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna play this for you. Get it stuck in your head too." So I played it for her, and it was that part of the movie. It was just like that was the music video. It was just that scene of the film,
Yeah.
and even that was like, "Oh, this is kind of scary too," because it was like the guy is like, "I'm the clown with the tearaway
Tearaway
face."
face.
And when I was
Yeah.
talking to my daughter today, she's like, "That's the part of the song that I got stuck in my head. I am the clown with the tearaway face." And she had all the lyrics, like she knew it. She'd seen the video 3 times and she knew it. And
Okay.
it didn't
If
seem
if
to freak her out, but I was
if
worried for a
sh
second.
if she can handle that, she can definitely handle Hocus Pocus. I would say that the vision, the stuff that you see in A Nightmare Before Christmas, that song in particular is more scary than anything that you will see in Hocus Pocus. Because really, it's just this. Like the scariest thing about Hocus Pocus is Bette Midler. I mean, come on, let's be
Yeah.
real here. Fucking
God, I
she's gonna.
love Babs too. I'm a
You love
big
Babs? I was see. I liked Sarah Jessica Parker. That's why my wife always dressed up for like a couple of years ago. A little bit
you
Amy
know,
Glass thing. She who dressed up as the I was Billy from Hocus Pocus. I did the makeup.
yeah,
That was my favorite part. I did the makeup, but she dressed up as like Sarah from Hocus Pocus, and she was like all blonde and shit, and like she had like the stockings that go like halfway up with the little garter thing like on there, and she was like butt naked, like right in here-ish, and I was just like sitting there. I was like, oh my god, I
yeah,
need to like stick my zombie face in your ass right now.
yes.
And she wouldn't let me. She wouldn't let me. We're gonna go to a Halloween party. Fuck you. Fucking
Yeah, look, if you go to a Halloween party without a little bit of semen inside you, like,
is it a
are you
Halloween
even
party?
like, is that even a party at that
No,
point? Like,
no, it's not.
that's part of the rules of Halloween. I think Sam from Trick or Treat will actually kill you if you don't have a little bit of semen in you when you go to the Halloween party.
It, it, and if
Your
somebody
costume is not good if
no,
your husband doesn't wanna bust a nut in you before that Halloween party. Let's put it
and
that
you're
way.
not thinking about it, like, because one, if it gets in your hair, just be like, oh, I'm Mary for something about Mary. Boom.
Yeah,
One, two. If somebody's like, what's all that stuff on your? Oh, that's ectoplasm. Spooky, spooky
yeah.
ghost.
I was slimed.
Boom. Slime.
Yeah,
You got
I got
slime.
slimed.
Slime.
So I will say, like, yeah, I'm thinking Hocus Pocus is probably gonna be fun. We're gonna go watch it tomorrow. They're
Good
doing
choice.
like a they're doing like a movie in the park thing, you
Yeah.
know,
Ooh,
where they're gonna
very
show
good.
it on a big screen or whatever. We're gonna go see it. I'm gonna,
Okay.
you know, if it scares the shit out of her, I can always like throw her over my shoulder and go get in the car. It's not like
Do you know?
movies these days. When's the last time you took your kids to a movie? Did you go see a movie like in the theaters recently? I took my
No.
2 kids and my wife $57 for fucking 4 movie tickets, and 2 of them were
Oh,
kids.
yeah. The last movie we went to go see was Deadpool Wolverine, and we liked it so much we brought the boys to go see it afterwards. Like that was the
Nice,
last thing I went to go see.
nice.
Here's something else you could probably show her. Halloween Town, which is a little bit
Thought about
before
that.
your time. Did you watch Halloween Town? Was that something that
You
made it
know,
to your
yeah, that was a little after my time. Like I was a little bit I was like 13 and smoking cigarettes and trying to be a shithead with my friends and skateboarding at the time.
yeah.
Halloween Town dropped what, like 95? Something like
Something
that?
like that. It's not too probably a little bit newer than that. I think it's like 97 or some shit like that. I
Oh,
don't
dude,
I don't
well, if it was 97, then I was in high school. I
Oh
was
yeah. It was
yeah,
kind of like in that wonderful time when Disney was still like doing original productions like inside of the channel itself. It wasn't like a movie thing. Like didn't go to theaters by any stretch of the imagination. But it takes Halloween stuff and it makes it kind of like more accessible, I guess.
yeah,
Like there's skeletons and werewolves and vampires and stuff, but it's all brought up in the light of like these are all friendly creatures
yeah.
around Halloween. Like it's kind of cool. It's kind of
Okay.
cool, and it's
It's like
definitely
Peppa
kid.
Pig, but with like Halloween
Yeah,
shit.
yeah. I
Like
would
the
go with
werewolf family is friends with the fucking ghost family, and they're friends with
yes,
fucking
yes,
Frankensteins and shit like that.
yes. And so like, there's
Okay.
nothing crazy scary about it. I'm gonna sit here and try to like light my pipe with a pencil and a candle, just so everybody knows what I'm doing over here. Because I've somehow forgot of all the things. I forgot to bring my fucking my lighter with me. But I
That's
think
a
it's gonna work
tobacco
out.
pipe, right?
Yeah, of course. And I don't think that's going to work out. You know what? Tom's going to just drop that idea and just go on to the next thing. So Halloween Town is definitely something to throw in there for them. That might be like the good gauge of like what can they handle at this point. And to be fair, like if 5-year-old could definitely handle Hocus Pocus, she's probably going to like it because like the girl witches are funny. Like,
Yeah.
yes, they are trying to steal the souls of children, but
Yeah, they
like,
do
and they
murder that girl at the beginning, there's
a little bit of
that.
murder.
A little
It's
bit
a
of
little bit
murder.
of murder. It's a little bit of
Yes.
murder. So yeah, I mean, like that's kind of like the beginning class of Halloween. And then once they're a little bit older, then you can move into things like the Tremors, the Poltergeists. What else are good beginner movies for kids for Halloween? I mean, Jaws. We've said this before. Jaws is not a Halloween movie. It's a scary
We did.
movie, but
We discussed that. I mean, and for the benefit of the folks watching this, because they'll never see the other one, because I took it down because the audio was so bad. Uh Jaws as a Halloween movie, we both agreed no, it happens on Nantucket during the summertime. That's July 4th weekend.
oh yeah,
You don't watch that in October. Who's
they
fucking
depend on summer dollars, Jason. They did not say we depend on Halloween dollars.
no, they
Fucking
don't.
bullshit.
And we're talking about Nantucket in the summertime. I don't think it's technically Nantucket. I think they made up some fake town.
I think it's Amityville, but it's supposed to be Martha's Vineyard, Nantucket. That whole it's
Yeah.
upstate New York, kind of like in that
Okay.
areas.
I actually thought it was legit Massachusetts, but who cares? It's not a Halloween movie anyway.
No.
Jaws. I actually heard somebody online talking about like, oh, I'm gonna watch Jaws for fucking hell. Get the
Stop it! Stop
get
it!
out of here. Get out of here.
That's like saying like I'm gonna watch Cool Runnings because there's snow on the ground when they do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Idiots. Yeah. What else is a good like introductory movie to scary? I mean, there's plenty of cartoons that kind of like play with
Yeah.
the scare. I mean, the thing is, Disney did it really well for some time. Like they have quite a bit. Um, I would say the next step, if you're not too sure about what they should or should not watch, I would say the next step is going to be something like Are You Afraid of the Dark? We've talked about this before.
Yeah.
Are You Afraid of the Dark is really my introductory to scary things and to like a little bit more adult because it's rated Y7, which according to TV means is for
Tell us all
7 and
about that.
above.
Yeah.
And that they were a Canadian show, but they did a really good job. I did an interview with DJ McHale, who's the creator of that show, a long
Nice.
time ago on a different
That was
show. Oh,
cool. That was cool when you did that. I thought that was cool that you got that guy
you.
on the motherfucker. I was like, dude.
There was some, sometimes, man, like, well, to be fair, like, thank you very much. That's such a kind thing for you to say. But like, do you ever do an interview with somebody that you knew them for one thing and then you just happen to be like, oh my God, you're insanely famous. Why'd you say yes to this?
Yeah. There were a few times that I reached out to some folks and I was like, okay, cool, let's do this. And I'm just an idiot. I'm like in my first year, I'm just like, I'm gonna ask everybody. I asked President Obama to fucking be on my podcast.
Nice. Do you say yes?
Yeah. Secret Service was like, sir,
I knew.
stop sending pictures of your cock and balls to the president. That is the president of the United States, sir.
He's a
Please
gooch man, you piece
stop
of shit.
sending pictures of who's even holding the camera because you got both hands spreading your butt cheeks wide open to send pictures of your anus to the president of the United States, the first black president, by the way, I might add. Okay, so there might even be a little racism in there. Sir, stop. We're going to send officers to your fucking location if you don't stop.
And for love of God, please stop sending him cartons of Cools. This is inherently racist.
He does not smoke menthols. For the love of God,
Yes.
he does not. Look, he may be the first black president, but he does smoke Camels.
So this happened with David Kirshner. David Kirshner, if we're keeping it Halloween centric, he is. I think he may have wrote, maybe just directed, but he was definitely the production person on Hocus Pocus.
Yeah, no
He's also a big champion of Don Mc. Oh, fuck, I'm literally been listening to this shit all the time. He's the guy that championed and got Chucky as a movie. Like he's been involved with every single one of the Child's Play movies.
Wow.
He did American Tales. Those are both his. He's done so many things.
Yeah.
I wrote to this guy because I saw he was a production guy on Hocus Pocus. He said yes. I was like, oh, cool. And then like as I'm talking to him, I'm looking at his IMDb. I'm like, you're friends with Steven Spielberg, like buddies. I see you at the Oscars with Steven. You're like high fiving and grabbing each other's dicks and whatnot. Like why are you on the show? But that's one of those things. But anyways, so yeah, like things like that, like youth centric Halloween adjacent. Doesn't have to be Halloween, time frame of thereof, but it has to be like spooky-ish. So like that'd be the
Yeah.
next kind of go-to in my mind. Goosebumps, the TV show, would be something else that's kind of like in that
Okay.
same wheelhouse.
Goosebumps is cool because there's a little bit of a literary reference. I like Are You Afraid of the Dark too, because while my 5-year-old is getting to be very excellent at paying attention to a feature length film, that's something that her younger sister, my youngest daughter, is not very good at, like longer form entertainment. She's like
Mhm.
short episodes. The nice thing about something like Are You Afraid of the Dark, and then later, like once you get older, you get into like Tales from the Crypt and stuff. The anthology stuff is a little bit shorter. It's a
Mhm.
little bit more digestible. You can put on an episode, and the episode is like 3 different stories. So it's like each story, you taking a 30-minute episode and you're whacking it into thirds. You're talking about like 7 minutes, 8 minutes per story. That
Mhm.
becomes a lot easier to, just get a couple in at the end of the night. Whereas, like, it's tough to watch a movie because as much as I want to show my 5-year-old a movie, I got a 2.5-year-old that's got maybe 20 minutes in her, and she's done with a single story after 20 minutes. So it's
Yep.
like I kind of got to get the 5-year-old by herself to watch movies because the 2.5-year-old just does not have the patience for it yet. And everything will be fine in 2.5 years when the 2.5-year-old is 5 and she's able to pay attention, and my 5-year-old is 8, and then we can just pop on a movie and get through Sleeping Beauty or whatever. But
Now,
right now it's like I want to cater my entertainment towards my older daughter too, because like I want to make sure that she's got entertainment that's kind of like on her level developmentally, and then like her interests and stuff like that as well.
so they did this really cool broadcast when I was a kid, and I think that means it was like super early '90s, late '80s. It was there was a pumpkin and there was like a spooky kind of voice. They were sitting there and he was like, they were basically taking all the scariest parts of Disney movies and putting them in. So
Oh
they
yeah. Oh, was it set to music?
yes, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's called DTV. It's fucking I tried to show that shit to my kids last Halloween, and they're like, "We're bored." But it was like great. It was banger songs. It was the best shit. It was like Eurythmics. It was fucking like Huey Lewis and the News, all them shits. And it was like the scary shits. It was DTV, and it's their Halloween episode. DTV was like Disney. It was like MTV, but Disney.
uh
It was like late 80s after MTV was kind of popular. And
okay,
they took pop music, Michael Jackson and shit like that, the
okay.
Eurythmics, shit like that. And they would make these little music videos and they would cut it together using like the witches from the different
So
movies and stuff, Snow White.
it
Ah,
wasn't that, but it's in the same wheelhouse. What it is
yeah,
like they have a pumpkin on the table, it's a jack-o'-lantern carved out, and they're kind of like they have an overtalk, and they'd be like, well, Mickey and his buddies once did the ghosts or something, basically leading very, very short
yeah,
descriptives that lead to it, whatever it is. So they played like the episode of the old Mickey Mouse where him and Donald and Goofy are the ghost hunters with the guns and shit with the ghosts.
yeah.
They did the episode where what is it, Huey, Dewey, and Louie and Donald were all in the house, and the gorilla that escaped from the fucking zoo that was on there. They showed Bullyrog
Did they
from
show the one where Huey, Dewey, and Louie make friends with the witch? The
yes, they showed
witch
that one
helps
too
them
with
prank the fuck
Hazel,
out of Donald
Hazel the
because
witch.
Donald pranks the shit out of him,
Trick
and
or
then the
treat,
witch is like,
trick
"Well,
or treat,
yeah,
trick or treat on
dude,
Halloween. Then ghosts and goblins by the score. They bang that old chick like a whore. No, that wasn't the song.
yes, excellent.
That
I love
wasn't it.
it. Disney was pretty fucked up. I mean, he used to get down in the 60s, I'm telling you
No,
that much.
blah, 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 just all the
Yeah.
bush. See,
Dude,
so the reason,
you think you eat ass, Disney ate ass, dude.
bro, he
Let
ate
me tell you.
ass.
At Disney
Um,
tossed some fucking salad back in the day.
Trust me, I saw Jungle Book. I know what he's all about.
Yeah.
The bare necessities. So, like,
Wasn't it directed by,
do you
Spike Lee?
have do you Spike Lee? What about him?
Yeah. Jungle Fever.
Jungle. Oh, jeez.
Yeah. The Spike Lee
Do you
joint.
have cable? Are you a guy that
I have
subscribes to?
YouTube TV currently because it's football
Okay.
season, and I need to watch my Bulldogs games. And
Okay, fair
so
enough.
I subscribe to YouTube TV. I overpay for it, and I don't get to
Mm,
watch my Bulldogs games because I got a 5-year-old and a 2.5-year-old. Nobody's fucking letting me watch fucking football on a Saturday afternoon.
sure, Georgia. So the thing about
Oh,
that, the reason I asked is because they used to have like a snick. They would have like a Halloween when it hits like October. They would play like all the Halloween episodes of whatever it was,
yeah.
like Hey Arnold, Cat Dog, all the shit, Red and Stimpy, you name it. They'd have a Halloween episode for it, and they would play that. And I always felt like that was a great introductory to scary stuff because they would take things that you know and love and that you're
Yeah.
comfortable with that you don't associate with scariness,
Yeah.
but then they would like kind of just a little nipple twist of scary in there, and that's a good way to do it. You're like,
That
oh,
is
it's okay to watch this.
that is something that I actually love about like older episodic television, like before The
Yes.
Sopranos and everything became like this cinematic, like 12 episode season where everything's like more tight.
Yeah.
You used to have these like longer seasons, they were 24 episodes, and they would meander a little bit more. They didn't tell like a tight story arc over the course of the season. You would have like your Halloween episodes, for instance, Christmas and other holidays, you'd have episodes that were like thematically appropriate for the week that they were being broadcast.
Mhm.
And that is actually something that is tremendously nostalgic to me, is to go back and see Halloween, not just watching, because obviously we're here to talk about the stuff that to us, the films that remind us of Halloween, but like
Which we're doing
we would
such a
be
good job of.
remiss, which we're doing a great job of actually. So, go fuck yourself. We're doing a great job. But the television that we watched when we were kids around this time of year too, that's another thing that brings that nostalgia, that helps to get you into like the mood of the season, right? I mean,
Mm.
are there's some television Halloween episodes that stand out to you?
More so than actual movies, to be fair and honest. Like it's see, you're really good about doing this. I would say television is more of that than movies will ever be. I can watch a
Yeah,
movie whenever, and there's some movies I must watch around Halloween, but like for the most part, it's the closer it gets to Halloween, the more I crave that main line of nostalgia. I'll watch the Treehouse
yeah,
of Horror episodes, all the Simpsons ones up until season 13. After season 13, I don't think the Simpsons are anything that should be talked about anymore. But all the old Nickelodeon shows, all the old Disney shows, anything that played when I was a kid, it's bumpers with commercials are the other big thing that kind of
yeah.
drives me hard. Like when I wake up, I'm taking my morning shit, I will look up old TV bumpers. And for those that don't know what a bumper is, so like it would be like you're watching a
After
show.
these messages, we'll be right
It's
back.
those are exactly, or
Yeah.
they'd be like, hold on, because after this episode, you get the spooky episode of Saved by the Bell and
Uh,
stuff like that. And it would announce the TV broadcasting network that it was playing on, whatever affiliate it was. They would have the commercials to match, and ever so often you get like a bullshit Nissan commercial. They'd be like, "Drive Nissan, the freedom of running over the Japanese imperial empire," shit like that. But the rest of them were all Halloween centric. You get yourself like a fucking what was that Count Chocula commercial with the
oh,
Halloween McDonald's commercial that would
yeah.
follow it, and then
You
you get
remember
like,
the boo buckets? Them
of
fucking
course,
boo
of
buckets, dude.
course.
Shit, those were coveted when I was young. I tried to explain that shit to my kids. We went and got boo buckets last year because they came back, and I was looking at these boo buckets. I'm like, "What's wrong
Boo.
with you kids these days? Like, they don't even have the lid anymore. They've got like a faux lid." Anyway, I don't want to spend too much time
Go
bitching
get
about boo buckets, but
go get the boo bucket from Dunkin' Donuts. My wife got one
yeah,
today,
it's
and it
a
has a
50.
lid.
Okay, let me ask her. I mean, let me ask you. Let me ask
Out
her
there.
through you. How much she had to buy the 50 munchkins, right?
Fuck yeah, they did.
How much are 50 munchkins?
I think it was like $5 or some shit. It wasn't very much, dude. It
Dude,
was
no,
pretty cheap.
I was like looking at 50 munchkins. I'm like, dude, that's gonna be like $18 for a fucking plastic pail. But if
Oh
you're
yeah.
telling me they got the boo buckets at Dunkin', I will throw my kids into the car tomorrow morning when they wake and say, bitches, we're going to Dunkin'. We're gonna get 50 munchkins and a boo bucket. You each get 2 munchkins, and I'm gonna throw the rest in the lake. Because I'm not fucking listen, I'm not feeding these kids straight sugar all day tomorrow. I gotta fucking deal with this shit. So
Just I just see you driving by like the 40 homeless people you pass into your house. Be like, no, these
yeah,
aren't for you. They're for my children. You go to the closest puddle, just start dumping them in.
dump 'em. Just
Fucking
dump them,
just
fucking
dumping
Peppa
them.
Pig style, muddy puddle, fucking boom. Here's your
Buddy,
fucking here's your fucking munchkins, motherfucker. Actually, we should just go give munchkins to homeless people. You guys can eat 2. I just want the fucking plastic pail. That's all I want.
They're
Yeah, I
like,
need to check that out because I heard it was lit. Is it like
it's
purple
good.
or blue or what
It's
color is it?
purple. It's purple. I honestly would go grab it
All
right
right.
this second, but I don't want to interrupt the show. It's good. It's
Yeah,
better.
don't. don't, but I
it's the
wanna
way
fucking go get one. Shit.
No, you should go get one. It's very reminiscent of the original McDonald's, which people don't remember. They actually had two different variations. They had the triple jack o' lantern pumpkins. They would have 3 different faces, and then they also had the witch, the pumpkin, and the ghost. Like
Yeah.
those are the original ones. And then they put them back out, and they were missing the lid. And I remember it
It's like a
at
faux
first.
lid. It's weird. It just gets in
It's
your way.
Yeah, it does get in your way. I mean, so the other lids, to be fair and honest, but like they got in the way of a cool way. You're just
Yeah.
like, whoa, I can't get my candy. What up? This one, you're like,
Yeah.
I can rip right through the top of this lid and I still get my candy, but it's such an inconvenience. I don't want to lift you. It's
Ah,
fucking bullshit. So yeah, so TV commercials, those are definitely more of like the things I have to cram into the hallway. What about you? Do you have like any main lines? I like Fresh Prince of Bel Air, the dinosaurs, that TV show.
yeah.
The one that they had a good Halloween episode. My mom was really good about recording things on a on VHS. Like
Do
she
you
would take
remember
there.
that? God damn, I
Of
remember
course,
that, dude, and I think
of
my
course.
parents were decent about recording things onto VHS in those early
Mhm.
days when I was too
Oh
young to
yeah.
do it myself, but there was a point in time somewhere around, like, the early '90s, somewhere around, like, I'm turning 10, somewhere in the early 9 the first couple of years of the '90s, I'm turning 10, 11, and it's like, "Okay, I can work a VCR, I can put a tape in, I can hit record," that kind of thing.
Mhm.
They totally outsourced it to me after that, but I think there was a time there where it was like it was I mean, God, it was free entertainment, right? Like, it's like you don't have imagine, you don't have internet, you don't have YouTube, you don't have all of the things that you use to entertain your small children, and but you've got, like, 4 channel even if it's just whatever's coming through the fucking airwaves,
Or
you've got
Chan.
you've got 4chan, so you've got, like, wild anal porn. Like, no one's watching fucking
And
pig on
beheadings.
YouTube, but everybody is fucking watching, like, anal squirting, uh, which is just called diarrhea, by the way. It's just called I'm gonna shit on these walls. It's called anal squirting. In the
It's
gay
art,
community,
Jason.
gay dudes be like, "I'm a squirter." You
Oh my god. Um, but yeah, they were so good about that.
So yeah,
Fucking these.
I had stuff on VHS. I had like I had some Disney stuff. I had
Mhm.
God, I had some like Disney original movies, something wicked this way comes and some of the shit that was in the 80s that my parents just kind of like recorded because it's like what do we do? We don't have if you don't have the internet and a phone that you just hand the kid, you've got like 3 VHSs that have each one of them have like 6 episodes of like Garfield and Friends,
Oh,
Halloween and
good
Christmas episodes.
pull.
You just bust that shit out. Garfield and Friends was the one too. People sleep on Garfield and Friends these days, but don't.
They shouldn't.
They should
Those
not at all.
the farm animals that were like their buddies and shit, that they were
Yeah,
like the adjacent show that was inside the show. That Muppet
yeah,
Babies, that was pretty dope, dude.
yeah.
Yeah, I was a big dinosaurs fan. Fuck, my mom recorded all the Michael Jacobs dinosaurs. He's also the same guy who did Boy Meets World, by the way. Um, and you could tell the nights that my mom really tried, and when we had other stuff to do, if she was trying, there was never a commercial during these. She would not record the
Oh man.
commercials.
So
But
she would stop it and then start it again.
oh yeah, but if she was too high, if she's too high or we had other shit to do, she just put that sleep timer and shit just right on through to the other side. And
Yeah.
we'd have like that's how we had like the first like 9 seasons of The Simpsons. Like we didn't have any streaming access. We didn't have the DVDs of my mom recorded all the motherfuckers. We had
I
them
mean, there was no
all.
DVD back then. If you were rich, you could go buy video cassettes. I had a huge VHS collection at one point in the like 94-ish,
Mhm.
somewhere around 1994. I actually had quite a large VHS collection, some of which I had recorded from TV or made copies of. At some point I put 2 VCRs together and started making copies of the shit I rented at Blockbuster.
Nice.
But I had shit that I bought as well. And I had a tremendous VHS collection back then,
Mhm.
but it takes up so much goddamn space. I
I
mean, people forget about you stack 10 VHS right next to 10 DVDs in a stack,
mhm.
and VHS takes up so much fucking space. Forget about it. On top of the fact that it's a poorer quality format, so
I added
obviously DVD was like that was like now you have everything. And internet, now you really have everything. But man, kids these days don't understand what it was like to be alive in 1990 and like you need to entertain your fucking children.
Oh, and they were so expensive back in the day. Like, remember when like VHS tapes were like $50 a pop?
Oh, bro, yeah,
Dude,
yeah.
they were not cheap.
It
And
was
VHS
rare. Like
players.
you used to have to. Do you remember dumpster diving for porn? Not that that has anything to do with Halloween or the movies, but do you
That's
remember?
scary.
I'm gonna come right out here and age myself a little bit. But you know, before the internet, before like you know, you really got good internet porn, like good streaming, good high bit rate. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Back in the late '90s,
MPEGs.
you wanted to jack off. You had to jack off. You needed to jack off. And there was no like ujiz.com. There was no fucking, you know, xnxx.com or fucking, you know, you didn't have that shit. So what you had to do, because the internet was not an option, you had to fucking find the magazine.
Mhm.
Well, I remember going dumpster diving in magazines. I remember like they had like a magazine recycling, but it was like the size of a dumpster. And people would
Yep.
just go dump their old newspapers and shit and magazines and stuff in there. And
Yep.
you go through there and it'd be like Cosmo, fucking Good Housekeeping. But
Yep.
every now and then you would find a fucking Playboy and you'd be like, it was all worth it.
Um, no, I didn't have to dumpster dive for that, but I did raid my parents' like room a couple times. Like, you ever like? I mean, are your parents young enough, old enough to have had porn, like porn VHS
You
tapes?
know, I never found any porn in my parents'
Hmm.
anywhere. So if they had it, they hid it pretty good. They were also pretty Catholic. Like my parents were like,
Oh, that's
and
against
especially my
Jesus.
mother, like the Catholicism scale of my mother was pretty fucking high. So I don't know. It might have been one of those things where like, you know, like Catholic God doesn't like it. Like I'm not going to stay right with the Pope if I have porn underneath
The
my.
Pope's got porn. Don't kid
Well, you
yourself.
know, I don't know. I don't know what the Pope gets down to.
What do you think he keeps in his hat, bro?
I know,
Porn.
right? I got to
That
my
and
friend's house,
lots of
rolled up in the hat. He takes the fucking hat off, takes the porn mag out. Yeah.
fucking
I don't,
that and plenty of like crusty up tissues and shit. He's got to hide them things somewhere. That's why the hat stays up straight. It comes on that fucking
oh, Jesus. Yeah.
boom.
This hat ain't going nowhere. This hat is stiff as a board.
It's a man. It's a me, a Popey. Fucking yeah. My parents had porn, and I remember like
Yeah.
taking their VHS tapes a couple times, which was fine as a kid, but as an adult, I'm like, I came to things my parents came to. I don't know if that's okay.
Yeah, I don't know. That's weird. That's kind of borderline incestuous. That's
It is. It
very,
is.
very strange. Yeah, the thing is, like, I remember being a kid. I remember being in my teens and like, you know, you'd go hunting through your
Wishing my parents had porn.
yeah, well, it wasn't my parents, right? But you'd go hunting
Yeah.
through your friend's house, or their parents would have porn. And
Yeah. Fucking deviant.
actually, like, I didn't think it was that weird at the time. But now thinking back, it's like, how come every one of my friends' parents had a stack of fucking porn, magazines and videos and shit like that? But my parents didn't have no fucking porn. Like, what
They
is that? What
they
is
got off on Jesus, bro. They don't get off on that shit.
I'm
That
not even saying like,
onanism bullshit.
look, I don't want people to get the wrong impression about my family. It's not like yeah, we pray before a meal, but like most folks do, at least older generations do.
Yeah.
But like, you know, my mom goes to church. We're mad Catholic. I came up going to church. I got confirmed and shit like that. But
So
I'm
did
not
I,
like
baby.
my mom doesn't fucking call me to pray on the phone or you know, it's not like that weird.
I saw
Not
your
like
latest episode, Jason, when
yeah.
you talked about your grandma with the black man. You need to pray with mom now.
Oh, if my mom could hear me talking about her mom with the black man on that episode, I might
Goliath.
say that for her, but I'll have to record her reaction
Oh
because
my
she's gonna get
god.
rip shit pissed.
That's
And I'm
don't play
fucking
for her.
talking about her deceased mother having sex with like lines of black men in the 19 like pre civil rights movement,
Jim
and
Crow.
she was like Jim Crow.
This
He
is like
fucked the shit out of me.
we just called him
1950. Jim
big.
Crow was hung like my arm.
Oh my god! Anyone that doesn't know that, so go back and listen to what episode it was like a
We
couple
called
episodes back.
we called him Yeti because he had a dick like a Yeti microphone. That
We
thing you're
haven't.
holding right there, it's
We
big and black and heavy and meaty, and he hit me in the face with that thing, and I spit a tooth out.
this is a fucking. We recorded that a couple weeks ago on New England Natives, and it was so good. We have yet to go back to doing New England Natives. Like, how do we top that?
It's
How
like
do you go back for that? It's fucking.
like
We started
I
a
don't know
show.
why. I mean, God rest her soul. I think she can
Mm,
probably hear us right now,
sure.
but That was pretty. I like to think my grandma has a pretty good sense of humor.
Yeah.
That she
Yeah.
probably would have enjoyed all of the references to her. Having seen giant black men that look like Ving Rhames. You know, just like no, she's not having sex with any fucking what it was
Take
his
my
name?
dick, Ma.
Glover. What's the Glover kid? What's the fucking
Oh, Crispin Glover? Not Chris. Oh,
no,
no,
not
no.
Crispin Glover. You
Fuck,
no,
you. He's a young black man. He's
yeah,
important.
no. Crispin Glover is fucking white as shit.
Yes, he is. He played Marty McFly's daddy.
Yeah, he's fucking white as my criminal background. Jesus
Leah
Christ.
Thompson. Oh my god.
What's his name? The fucking Glover. Danny Glover.
Yeah, I know. Donald Glover.
Yeah, there we go. Donald Glover. He's fucking. Yeah, she's not doing any skinny Donald Glover types. It's just a huge Ving Rhames.
It's Wesley Snipes, black, Ving Rhames.
Absolutely. Yeah, like gnarly, like just
it's just huge.
Just
like this
novelly
microphone
cocked.
is
yeah. Just yeah.
now, Goliath.
Bulbous and misshapen and just everything's wrong with that dick. It is the ugliest cock you can even imagine. But it's like grandma's like
just give it, just lay it in here, lay it like it's a ton of brick. So the nice thing about Halloween movies and things that like Halloween movies is
it's violently segue back to the topic at hand. It's just fucking hold on. My neck hurts now.
Is it from the big black dicks or from the whiplash of that segue?
Definitely from the big black cock, dude.
Makes sense.
The neck definitely hurts from the black cock. I mean, Jesus
bro, don't
Christ.
you feel bad for like thin white chicks in porn? Like when you
I swear to God, YouTube is just that algorithm is just
so God,
just holding this video underneath the bathwater.
Just wait for the bubbles.
Yes, just like please God, that YouTube algorithm.
Let it die.
Like, the minute we start talking about big burly black men fucking my grandma into submission, YouTube is like the alarms going off in the fucking HQ.
Which she loved. Which
like,
she loved, by the way. Let's put it in there. She loved
There's
it.
There's a fucking Indian dude who's like, oh shit. Fucking activate the algorithm.
Oh, Vishnu, take your many arms and smite these motherfuckers.
He's fucking breaking the glass, like fucking activating the algorithm on this fucking video. Like, push this shit down.
Fuck that. You know how many times I've seen accidental porn on YouTube? I'm like, how'd this get over here? Like,
I've seen intentional porn on YouTube.
Dude,
I watched a guy paint of a butterfly on a woman's vagina. I'm like, how is this on fucking YouTube? Like, that's art. Honestly, like Playboy shows bush, but they don't show like the flip flaps. This is flip flaps. This guy is painting butterfly wings on a girl's vagina, and I couldn't believe that YouTube allowed that.
It started off as a caterpillar, which was really weird because he drew with a caterpillar on his dick, and then it went inside the girl. All of a sudden, vagina became... Oh, that's a great art piece. Why has nobody made that yet? That sounds.
Why has nobody made that? That's excellent. That would be like a good performance piece.
It would be. Did you ever hear about that chick that went like I think it was like in the 70s? She put up a sign with some like tape around her and said, "You can do anything you want to me," and she just like laid out there naked for everybody. And she didn't get like overly molested and she didn't get stabbed or anything. Like, how do you do that? I think it was in like New York on top of everything else. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I didn't hear about that, but that is interesting. That's performance art, man. And performance art
is that's begging to get stabbed.
That is begging to get stabbed with a dick.
Oh, dude. So many horrible people in there. Nobody fucked that chick. Do you think she really wanted to get fucked? Do you think that's what it was? She just really wanted to get fucked by some stranger, but they didn't have glory holes, and it wasn't like PC, AIDS. We're starting to be whispered out like AIDS. So she didn't have like the pussy to like be like, yo, fuck me, random dude. But then she's like, I know, art, and it was cool.
That thing had to, if nobody fucked her, that thing had to smell. That monkey had to smell.
Just,
you know what I mean?
Stinky. So
like
stinky.
guys get up there like, oh, she's saying you could do whatever you want, and they get close enough to smell the buffet, and they're like, yeah, no thanks.
Good. So what movies do you need? So we've been into the spooky season for 18 days. What horror movies have you crammed in so far?
Yeah, I actually, we did discuss this last time, which I appreciate you bringing it back up because it wasn't on my mind, and yet I have made some steady progress. I have watched.
Why?
Yeah, good, nice. I can't wait to hear your answer.
Fuck you.
I'm legitimately looking forward to what you have to say, my friend.
I want to hear what you have to say first.
So, I watched I watched a little film called Flesh Eater. I mentioned this last time.
Ooh,
And in fact,
okay.
our outro music is the theme music from the film Flesh Eater. And it's a zombie film directed
Oh,
by the guy who starred as the original first zombie in the first Night of the Living Dead movie. And it's a fun little film, and I didn't realize this when I watched it, but it is set on Halloween. Like it's a zombie film that happens, it occurs on Halloween, which is kind of a cheat code for a Halloween movie, right? Like you can take any holiday and just say, okay, we're gonna make a movie, but we're gonna say it's happening on the holiday, and then it's a holiday film. And I don't think that's true because I don't think Die Hard is a holiday film. I digress. But so Flesh Eater I saw, which is a great little zombie film that happens on Halloween. It's a strange little zombie film, and it's almost like a borderline sequel slash remake to Night of the Living Dead, and it's quite good. I recommend Flesh Eater. I watched the 4K from Vinegar Syndrome. I watched the 4K of The Lost Boys.
ooh,
I
very
watched oh shit, I watched Halloween H2O. I watched Salem's Lot,
the new one or old one?
the old one. I still haven't seen the new one, but we
The new
watched the
one's
OG.
the new one's available on Cinemax or HBO Max right now. I flipped past it last night. I think I really was tempted to watch it, but please continue.
I'm tempted to watch it too, except I don't have HBO Max. So fuck it.
Download the shit.
So yeah, we'll steal it. I'm gonna pirate it.
Piracy is not just a costume for Halloween.
Yeah, I'm gonna pirate that shit. And then there's one other one that I've watched, and I can't fucking for the life of me remember Pumpkinhead. I watched Pumpkinhead as well. And Pumpkinhead was quite entertaining. I watched one last night that was on. It was on streaming. I watched it on demand because I have YouTube TV, and I'm trying to remember. It's called Halloween Party, and I didn't quite finish it because it was getting late. But I will say this movie Halloween Party is very interesting movie because it's occurring on Halloween during a Halloween party at night that these adults are having, and
Sweet key party.
yeah, they've got these kids coming over and
Sure
trick or
they do.
treating. But the whole movie is it's like this weird independent film that's trying to be like Clerks or something. It's not a horror film at all. And I kind of expected it to be. I thought they were all going to start getting murdered during their Halloween party, but it's like
Yeah.
it's this kind of funny, like I don't know. It's supposed to be like Clerks. It's like somebody saw Clerks and was like, "Oh, I can do this," and they said it during Halloween. And it's not as good, but it's interesting in that it is a Halloween film that's not a horror film. So let me hear what you've seen so far this month,
Well,
and
I
then we
gotta.
can discuss Halloween films that aren't horror films.
Well, the thing is, like the movie that actually. When I was flipping through the Amazon Prime, trying to find more stuff to watch last night, I came across something that I thought was the grossest product placement of all time for a movie.
Yeah.
Worse than the Transformers. There's a movie called Spirit of Halloween. Spirit
Okay.
Halloween, and it's about 4 kids that spend the night in a spirit Halloween, and spooky shit happens.
So Spirit Halloween pretty much they paid for that movie, right?
I fucking hope they did. If they didn't, somebody did the biggest product placement and excused it as a movie. They're like, by the way, this is a movie. I don't know. Like, I don't want to watch it, but I almost want to watch it. I have a morbid curiosity. So I started off pretty darn lackluster. I got what have I gotten so far? I got 2 of the Chucky movies in. I just really watched Bride of Chucky because that's one of my favorites. I watched the original again. Now I'm trying to find The Curse of Chucky and The Cult of Chucky, just based off of a book I'm reading right now by a guy I know named Dustin McNeil. If anybody has Audible, go check out like The Reign of Chucky, Taking Shape. These are all like books about horror movie franchise. It's brilliant. Tremors. I watched that earlier on in the. I tried watching A New Nightmare. Can't find it. Not for anyone on the streamings that I wouldn't have to pay for. Which
I saw that on TV. I watched the last like 15 minutes on TV the other night.
It's good. Like anyone that has never given a chance to Wes Craven's New Nightmare is really missing out. Like it is. They took a chance and it didn't do amazingly well at the box office. Like it's definitely not it's not like changing the game of horror, but it's something really cool. It's very meta in itself. It's about
very meta. Yeah.
It's about Lisa Langenkamp, the actual actor, is having nightmares about Freddy Krueger, the character, even though she's friends with Wes Craven and Robert
Yeah.
Englund, and like
Wow.
these are real things. But like she's married to a special effects guy, and he dies because of a nightmare, and it kind of like goes into that, and it has like cool. Oh god, it's so good. It's
Yeah.
fucking really good. And I love the claw. They have a they don't show the claw more than once, I think, but it's the metal claw in the very beginning, the one that like
Yeah.
walks by itself, dude. It was a cool claw. Like they gave Freddy such a stupid bitch ass claw near the end. It was like stupid. It had like bones on the back. It
Yeah,
was lame.
it was like built into his hand
It was
almost.
lame as fuck, dude. Like, I mean, the only thing that was cool is he had like an extra finger fucking he had a finger blade right here. That was the coolest thing about it. The rest of it was bullshit. But the metal claw in the very beginning, it's the one they shot on the case where he's sitting there fucking holding it up. I'm just like, bro, that's the fucking move. Like, why aren't you using that the whole
Yeah.
movie, you bitches? Anyways, I also watched Scream 1 and Scream 2 last couple days. Fucking Ghostface. Which actually, when was the last time you watched Scream?
Dude, it's been a long fucking time since I've seen a Scream movie, dude.
You should
100%.
rewatch it
Been a
because
long
one,
time.
it's actually like we owe watching H2O, which we're going to do in a future episode. When we do the commentary to H2O, we actually owe that viewing experience to Scream. Michael Williamson is the guy that wrote Scream, and he actually did like a patch right on
Yeah, he
H2O.
did like a punch up on the yeah.
Yep, he did that, and like the poster is Scream-esque. The way that shot is Scream-esque. There's so much Scream in H2O. It's silly.
Yeah,
But
H2O is like it is definitely like hot on the heels. It is riding the Scream coattails for sure. That's something I want to talk about when we do our live stream coming up, guys. In like a week, we're gonna do a live stream. Tom Buno and your boy J Bone Capone. We're gonna do a live, full feature-length commentary for the film Halloween H2O, the classic, the seminal classic. I'm gonna talk mad shit about it actually.
and I watched all three of the continuations of the original Halloween movie, like Halloween Kills, Halloween, and Halloween the other one there, Halloween
Halloween
Jamie the
Ends.
Curse Needs Money. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were good. They were really good. I actually was having a conversation with one of my oldest friends last night because like whenever we watch something that we both watch, like, and that's something else too, is like friends are the biggest motivator for horror films. I don't know what your friends, my friends were.
Yeah.
Like if I wasn't renting something for, our weekly sleepover or whatever the fuck ever, it was one of them that did it, or their parents rented a horror movie. Like, dude, let's watch Milo. Did you ever see that fucking movie, Milo?
I never saw that fucking movie.
It's the movie with the little kid in the yellow raincoat. It's not memorable enough to even talk about it. I remember seeing it like once and be like, this is stupid. Does he like blow that old man? Like the raincoat for semen? Like what's the deal? It wasn't any of that. It was stupid. But yeah, that's what I've watched so far for Halloween movies as of right now. Oh, and Terrifier 1 and 2 now. I've added those to my lexicon.
Yeah.
So I'm doing
well.
I'm doing pretty okay. I was really disappointed in myself. Do you get mad at yourself for not watching more horror movies in this time?
I regrettably, and my wife will attest to this, I do put a lot of pressure on myself around the holidays, not just Halloween, but really all of them. And it's like it's this limited time opportunity to like do these things that are like holiday related that you won't do in July or May or April, right? Because it's the holiday. You got to get it in while you can. And I'm like, I try to cram. I want to do everything. I want to get it all in. And so yeah, I do beat up myself. I'm a little hard on myself when I don't get something done that I'd like to do. And it's like, well, now I gotta wait. I didn't watch the movie and I can't watch it now that it's November. And so yeah, I mean, I definitely was feeling, and I still am a little bit feeling like, there's a lot. I have a big stack of movies still to watch, but at the same time, I'm like, well, it's not close enough to Halloween yet to watch Trick or Treat. I can't watch Trick or Treat.
So here's the other thing is like what plays into my inability to play horror movies or trying to convince myself to watch horror movies is actually my indecisiveness when it comes to selecting something. I spent more time the other night looking for a horror movie than I did actually watching a horror movie, which is pathetic. Like I should be able to be like, oh, American Werewolf in Paris is right there, and I'm actually one of those defenders for that fucking movie. I love that movie.
I got that movie upstairs. That's part of my watch list for this month.
Is it American Werewolf in Paris, not London?
No, I'm sorry. American Werewolf in London.
Yeah, London's great. London, like
Paris?
I'm not gonna.
Are you fucking crazy?
Yeah, no, I love Paris. Dude, it came out in the right time. It came out like 95, 96, 97, and Sci-Fi did like a whole like expose about the movie. They were upgrading the werewolves. I love the way the werewolves look in that movie. It's very bloody. It's a little more over the top. Julie Deeply takes her boobies out. Fucking um it's
Can't argue
you
with
know,
boobies.
and the thing is, like, when I was a little kid, American Werewolf in London is not horror enough to be like a scary movie. It is when you're adult. When you're adult and you can actually like not be like your 5-year-old or your 2.5-year-old and sit there and not pay attention. Because like it wasn't like horror. It was
Yeah.
horror. A bunch of talking of people about relationships and this girl trying to bang this dude. Horror, and then he wakes up in a fucking cage in the zoo and shit like that. There's not a lot of horror for being a horror movie. Now it doesn't take away from the freakiness of it, the overall amazing practical effects, like the oh my god, the transformation scene of the werewolf alone is worth a ticket price.
Yeah.
It's fucking brilliant, and it was the first time that like they ever showed a werewolf, because like when we think about werewolves we think about like, oh, moon, blah, but it's not like painful, and they showed it being like the most painful experience this young man has ever gone through his entire life. Like he's just sitting there, he's like, what, reading a book or something, and also he's like, Jesus Christ, and he fucking like starts like his skin's on fire and shit. It's brilliant. I know. See, I just went there to talk about like how American Werewolf in Paris is good, and I was like, by the way, American Werewolf in London is 10 times better. Fuck
Yeah.
that stupid Paris movie. The Eiffel Tower is gay. It looks like a big dick.
Big old dick. Just go
Tom
sit on the
Everett
Eiffel
Scott
Tower.
is in fucking American Werewolf in Paris. Okay, that's
Drive your
worth it.
Subaru to Paris and then go sit on the Eiffel
I don't
Tower.
have a Subaru. Fucking, I can't afford one. But I love American Werewolf in Paris. I really do. It's a good movie.
So, all right, let
Fight
me
me.
throw this out there.
Sure.
As long as we're talking about nostalgia related to films, I mean, we're all, I think, entitled to one or two really
Ooh.
terrible films that you love. I mean,
Oh.
what is a horror film, Halloween related film that's just awful, but you love it anyway because it's got the nostalgia, the member berries, or whatever?
Okay, so just so I can make it a quicker answer, I'm going to throw one of them's going to be American Werewolf in Paris. That's already
Yeah, I'll
right in
take it.
there.
Yeah, I'll take it.
That's definitely in there. Fucking shitty movie that's just so nostalgic. I just let it go as far as scary movie. Give me one of yours really quick while I think about the other one.
Yeah. Let me throw mine out there. For me, and I think in more recent years, people have accepted this one a little bit better. But for me, I think Halloween 4 is,
Ooh.
it is a god awful. They brought Michael Myers back from the dead because the anthology thing didn't work, and they somehow tried to tell us that Dr. Loomis and Michael Myers survived the end of Halloween 2.
They totally did.
A little bit of burns on their hand. Michael Myers suddenly has his eyeballs back after getting them shot out. See this?
Oh yeah.
This is proof. Michael Myers got his eyeballs shot out. Look, he's bleeding down his fucking cheeks. And anyway, Halloween 4, it kind of sucks. They couldn't get Jamie Lee Curtis back. So like, oh, she had a kid and then she died in a car accident. I love it when it's like, yeah, she survived Michael Myers for 2 movies, but then I don't know, some guy runs a red light and he'd been drinking and he plows into her and she dies. It's such an ignominious way to kill off screen some character that was like, yeah, I understand a car wreck is not the same as Michael Myers, but it's just kind of funny when you have a character that survives a serial killer on the loose, but like, oh yeah, well, she ran a red light, she wasn't paying attention, she looked down, she was texting, but her daughter survived, and now her daughter's been adopted. So yeah, it's actually kind of a piece of shit movie. It's not a great film by any means, but I think the visuals are just so nostalgic to me. The Halloween 4 opens with these scenes, there's no people in them at all. It almost looks like a post-apocalyptic film where it's like everybody's gone, but it's like images of the Midwest, which of course it's Haddonfield, Illinois. So they have to show you these images of the Midwest. It's barns, it's cornfields, it's real rural. It's not big city. So they do a great job of just with the images communicating to you like where this is taking place. And they also have these great, it's very fall. The colors are all very fall. And then there are some like really old, kind of very nostalgic Halloween decorations in each of the shots. And so just for the opening of the film alone, I will recommend Halloween 4 as just kind of a guilty pleasure for this time of year, you know?
So I'm gonna give you, just to follow you on that train of thought, I'm gonna give you one of the Halloween movies that I kind of have that same feeling with,
Yeah.
but I'm also gonna give you my real answer. So the Halloween movie that I follow along with, it would be actually Curse of Michael Myers. It's a
Yeah.
dog shit movie. That movie
Oh,
is dog
but there's
shit.
some good kills in there. That's a dog shit movie. But when he kills that guy by like holding him up to electricity, remember he like,
Bro, the bad
bro,
dad? Yeah,
yeah,
fuck yeah. The guy that's like, by the way, let's live in the house where all the serial killers are here. Like, let's just do that. That's the thing to do. And then like it's that story had no idea where the fuck it was going. Anyone that's never seen The Curse of Michael Myers, it was, ooh boy, it was definitely something.
the real Curse of Michael Myers is trying to make a goddamn Halloween sequel that makes any fucking sense at all. Making
There,
a coherent Halloween sequel is the real Curse of Michael
here
Myers.
are the following plot lines of that movie. The Thorn. The Thorn was their way of trying to explain why Michael Myers is killing his family members. There is the ending of the daughter of the Loomis. So I think it's Rachel is the girl's name. She's in there. There is the story of Tommy Doyle popping back up, who was played by Paul Rudd, by the way, motherfuckers.
Paul the
There
fuck Rudd. I can't believe it. Fucking
there
Ant-Man
is
himself.
the like first cousin or some shit, or like of like second cousin twice removed of Michael's somebody else played by a little boy, and he's hearing voices just like Michael did apparently. And there's a doctor that's the head of a cult. These are the plot lines of Curse of Michael Myers.
Curse of Michael Myers was such a clusterfuck. It really would
Bro.
have ended that franchise if it hadn't been for Scream. And
Mm,
then they said, oh, fuck, let's forget the whole Curse of Thorn, all of
yes.
that shit, and let's get back to basics. Let's ignore the Halloween 4, 5, and 6, that little druid cult trilogy. Let's throw that out the window and let's pretend like Halloween 2 happened 20 years ago. Let's pick up from there. Jamie
Yes.
Lee Curtis is back on. And we need to fucking throw money at at everybody because
Yeah.
Scream was a
Except
Scream.
John
You know,
Carpenter.
it came out at a time, and you got to give Wes Craven credit for this because he was hot off the heels of like you said, the New Nightmare that
Yes.
nobody fucking went to see, no one gave a
No.
shit about because you know horror was huge in the 80s with
Dead in the
the
90s.
video. Yeah, but then by 92, 93, I mean, you know, you look at the way Freddy's dead and then Jason Goes to Hell and these just piece of shit. We just need to finish the thing off. New Line Cinema just got the fucking sloppy seconds,
Poor
and
New
and
Line.
and horror was just dead. Like
Mhm.
1994, 1995, horror was dead. Nobody wanted to
Yes.
touch it.
Not at all. And so much so that, and also let's not forget to put in Child's Play 3, the very rushed trequel to fucking Child's
Yeah.
Play. Don Mancini, which is, I now remember his name. I'm just high enough. He would like it was such a clusterfuck in the mid 90s for horror film, and then Scream came out, reawakened the franchise. Scream came out in 96, and then all of a sudden they saw it as a vital thing, and that's when Bride of Chucky came out. And a lot of the best work actually came out of that. And of
There
course,
was a
Ronnie,
bit of a renaissance in the 90s after Scream. People said,
and
"Oh my gosh, we can make money off horror films again," and the money came out again
oh
in
yes,
a couple of
it,
years.
and so let me really quickly just touch on the fact that the last little thing after the Chris Michael Myers. I'm a big fan of Jason Takes Manhattan, the worst of the Jason
Terrible
fucking
fucking movie.
films. It's so horrible. It's so bad. It's so bad. It's
Awful,
horrendous.
awful.
But he punches the dude's head off.
He
Jason.
does. Let me ask you this: have you seen the movie Cellar Dweller?
No, what's that?
It's a nice little horror film. I'll rip it from the blue. I've got a Blu-ray, a high quality Blu-ray over here. I'll rip it and send it to you. But not only does a guy get his head punched off by the cellar dweller monster, but it's a much better, like it looks more realistic. It was a few years before Jason Takes Manhattan, so they predated, and
Nice.
the monster, like it's this big, almost kind of like Bigfoot Yeti looking monster, and
Oh,
it hits
Night
the
of the
guy's
Demon.
head. It hits him so hard that it does rip his head off, and he's got claws and shit too. It rips his head off, but it's indoors instead of like on the rooftop, like Jason Takes Manhattan. So the head actually goes bouncing around, like it hits the fucking wall, and there's like blood. I mean, it's a way better decapitation than Jason Takes Manhattan, but it's like a similar, like hits him
Right.
so hard the head knocks off, but then the head goes flying and like bounces off the wall, and there's like boosh, like it's everything you love about Jason Takes Manhattan, but like on
I,
steroids.
I don't know how you can say that, brother, because like I don't know if you remember that scene, but a young African American gentleman that would never stand a chance with your grandmother, fucking he
No, he would
balked.
fucking, let me tell you something. He would beat the brakes off of my grandma. Shit.
Oh, in a fist fight, sure, but definitely not like dick wise. Dick wise, she's taking, she's like, I take four of you. I'll roll you up like a Marlboro menthol and smoke ya.
Yeah, I'll smoke you
Yeah,
like a fucking cool.
like a Newport, motherfucker, a Newport 120, bitches. Yeah, I used to smoke cigarettes. What up? I'm cool. So fucking he boxed Jason on top of a skyscraper, which I'm pretty sure was not in New York City at the time.
No, it
But
was like
like,
Vancouver or some shit.
and like they're like showing New York in like the most elaborate way possible, like the most outrageous way possible, where it's all a bunch of prostitutes, drugs, and apparently just buckets of toxic waste hanging out everywhere. Because you remember, like he drowns a dude in it, is like he like fries up his skin, and then like at the very end, when Jason's
Yeah.
in the sewers and the sewage water's just like instead of catching like a big old fat nasty turd in his mouth, it's just like melting his skin. He's like, "Mama."
That was
So
also
yeah.
like the acid rain type of like that was like late 80s where everyone's like, fuck acid rain. Like fucking hydrochloric acid is gonna start raining down from the sky and we're all gonna fucking melt.
Oh yeah, I was more afraid of AIDS rain. Like
Yeah.
acid rain's for pussies. Fucking AIDS rain,
Gotta
dude.
worry about that Freddie Mercury rain.
Well, dude, did you ever see that movie Fern Gully? Isn't that what the Robin Williams character was singing about? I'm batty, don't get AIDS from a big fatty. I'm pretty sure that was in the lines.
Yeah, I need to look that one up. It's been a while since I've seen Fern Gully.
Oh, I know, right? Well, they fight Tim Curry, the smoke monster. I'm pretty sure it's Tim Curry, right? Right? Anyone want to second guess this?
Bro, I
Fuck you.
unfortunately I am not a Fern Gully expert by any means,
You
and I
should be.
apologize. I should
So
be,
what
but
movies are you gonna try to make sure that you watch before the end of the
yeah,
season?
so I have quite a few left. I
Okay.
have a few that I haven't seen. I always try to work in something new.
Oh, good.
I
So
have
do I.
a little film from I think 1982 called Trick or Treats.
I saw that commercial
Yeah,
for that. Yes.
Trick or Treats, and it's not to be confused with the 1986 film Trick or Treat or the 2007 film Trick
Trick
or
or
Treat.
treat. Hard
Hard R
R.
on that Trick or. Sounds a little bit bad, honestly. It sounds a little racist,
Trick
but
or please.
yeah, exactly. That's what I'm talking about. So it has David Carradine in it, whom I love from the Kung Fu days. Was first introduced to David Carradine
Bill.
by a little show called Kung Fu: The Legend Continues, circa 1992 or whatever, and that is just a great show. And so is the original Kung Fu. And anything that David Carradine does, I'm in for. And he was in Trick or Treats. That's a
All right.
blind purchase I bought. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm gonna watch it. I got Trick or Treat, which I've seen many times. The more recent, 2007 Trick
Mhm.
or Treat. I got that on 4K. It just came out on 4K. In fact, it's not supposed to be out yet. It's not supposed to be released till October 29th, but I got it a week ago. I got it early as fuck. I got it like 3 weeks early. And so I will be watching that on 4K. I've also got to watch another Halloween movie at least. Halloween 1. I'd like to watch Halloween 1 and 2 again.
Yes.
Um,
Does
and then
the
I've
Rob
got
Zombie Halloween's make it in there at all? Like, do you? You've obviously seen them once.
I have, yeah, I have, and
Nah.
saw them in the theaters too, because that's
So,
that's
not
what I
great,
was
right?
doing.
Nothing
They're
against Rob Zombie. I love Rob Zombie's music. I love a lot of Devil's
yeah,
Rejects is still one of my favorite fucking movies of all time.
yeah.
That is
I feel
also
like
not
he's
a horror film.
yeah, I have to say, like, he's not his shit's very violent. It's almost too violent for me.
It's
It's not like
it's
mean-spirited violent, but I also
it's
think that, as you said earlier in this episode, we're talking about Halloween 1 being so great because Michael Myers is so inscrutable. Whatever
yes.
his whatever his motivations are, we have no idea. As the viewer, we have no idea. It makes him kind of a tabula rasa a little bit, but then also
Ooh.
you can read your own motivations into the guy and you can spend a lot of time thinking what makes a 6-year-old murder his sister and then become a psychopath for the rest of his life, escape, and then murder more people. You can really spend a lot of time thinking about like what creates that kind of a human being, and is it possible for someone to just be like pure evil psychopath and there to be no explanation? And I think the Rob Zombie thing just takes the Rob Zombie creates a perfectly reasonable explanation for why Michael Myers would be so fucked up, but it's also like I didn't need and I didn't want that backstory. Like people act like they wanted it. They want to know about Michael Myers and what happened and like tell me more. But then when you hear it, when you actually get that information, you're just like, oh, kind of
Oh,
not
his
as
mom
cool
was
as
a
I thought it
slut.
would be.
If
And
if it
it'll never live up to expectations. And so
if
I
it was
feel like that's
if getting slapped around by your stepdad and seeing your mom or getting made fun of your mom because she's like nude, every single kid with a mom with an OnlyFans and a drunk stepdad is going to become Michael Myers next. That's kind of the storyline.
it's gonna happen though. I mean, in 20 years, we are going to see that happen because
A whole generation of Michael Myerses.
every time I see some girl on fucking on Twitter spreading her butthole open, I'm like, dude, that's gonna be someone's mom one day.
Oh,
And like
she's somebody's
my
mom
look,
now.
my
You see the
mom,
baby.
I know I talked about how Catholic she was, but like before that, she might have look, I don't know for sure. I'm not saying she was, but she might have been like a ginormous whore in the 1970s. But the fact is, when I was in high school, there was no video of it. There was no way for my friends to make fun of me and say, look at, I found a video of your mom spreading her butt cheeks and putting a plunger handle in her vagina. There was no way for that to happen. So, you know, I got to live a normal childhood, but I think kids these days, they're not going to have that opportunity because guess what? The internet is forever. And if your mom put a plunger handle into her vagina, your friends are going to find it and show it to you.
So here's the thing.
And you're going to
Is
kill
it
people over it.
is it more insulting that they found this and are making fun of you, or is it more of like in your face the fact that to get those pictures somebody had to buy the OnlyFans and they are in fact paying your mom, which isn't giving you money?
Yeah.
Like if
Yeah.
you had the wherewithal, you'd be like, you just gave me $20, asshole.
Yeah. You like look down at your Lunchables and you're like, you bought my lunch. Like,
you fucking little
thank
bitch.
you. Like, I wondered why mom upgraded me to the pizza Lunchables this week, but like
2 Hostess
hey,
cakes today, and it's because
yeah,
your dad is a fiend. You fuck. He just can't
yeah,
get enough of those private chats. The thing I don't like about the Rob Zombie movies is that he kind of, no matter what he does, he always, you can tell what he finds scary or what he finds intriguing. It's like that redneck inbred, like
yeah,
fucking type of spiel where you're like, come on, Michael, you go get him. Like I don't
yeah,
like it. Like it plays for some things. The
yeah,
Devil's Rejects, it plays for because it's kind of like an homage to Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which, by
yeah.
the way, I should probably throw that into the must watch before the end of the month. Like, I should watch the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre just because it's so fucking good. Toby Hooper's just a fucking
Yeah.
brilliant filmmaker. But he it made sense for Devil's Rejects and House of
Toby
Thousand
Hooper
Corpses.
did the Salem's Lot that I watched.
Oh, did Toby ever do that?
I think Toby Hooper did the OG Salem's Lot, I believe.
Okay, all right, that makes sense. And he also apparently did Poltergeist, even though he didn't.
Yes,
do
yeah.
Poltergeist.
He sort of did Poltergeist, yeah.
Which is
Steven
a
Spielberg
shame.
kinda
It's a shame. Spielberg's like, by the because anyone that's like, well, yeah, of course Toby Hooper did. His name's right there. It's like, no, it's a Steven Spielberg movie. If you don't know Steven Spielberg's like fucking little tropes he's got going on, that motherfucker, you don't know Steven Spielberg. You watch that strong female role model, like lead, the whimsical music, cute kid that knows more than they should. Like, there's all sorts of little things that Steven Spielberg and the cinematography alone screams fucking, Jurassic Park and fucking Raiders of the Lost Ark or some bullshit. He does a lot of things.
some
E.T.
bullshit.
Fucking E.T.
Fucking
Phone
E.T.
homo. So yeah, fucking I didn't think that whole like rednecky aspect of Michael Myers. I'm like, that wasn't needed then, it wasn't needed now. You didn't need to
I
do it,
agree.
but whatever the fuck ever. So you're gonna try to get in trick or treats.
Trick or treat.
Trick or
Trick
treat.
or treats.
Trick or
Trick
treats.
or treat. Late Night with the Devil and a couple of Halloween movies. And if I can get those in, I'll be happy.
I want to get in Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I need to get in. I want to start watching the Chucky show. I hear there's lots of like pullbacks or callbacks to
Yeah.
older characters. Like the original Andy pops back up in it. The girl that's from the second Child's Play, she's in it. There's apparently a lot of like cool things I need to see in this TV show. And plus,
Yeah.
like it just sounds okay. So that's on there. I definitely need to get Halloween the original. That always makes its way on eventually, and that
That's-
usually is on
that's-
Halloween.
yeah. I like to watch that one on Halloween or very close to Halloween. I like to watch Hocus Pocus on Halloween too. So
And I do like to try to find myself one or two new movies to watch. I would almost, as a sick fascination, I almost want to watch that fucking Spirit Halloween movie just to see what the fuck's
dude,
going
I
on with it.
looked that up a minute ago. It's got Christopher Lloyd in it.
Oh yeah, it does it for like 30 seconds or something.
Yeah.
I
It's
think
from
it's not
2002, so it's very recent. And apparently it was
2002.
2002 apparently, and apparently it was made in partnership with the Spirit Halloween um, franchise of
Huh.
buildings. Have you seen the Saturday Night Live commercial that makes fun of Spirit
Yes,
Halloween?
yes, yes.
Excellent.
We are here helping communities
Yeah,
for like 2
excellent.
months or some shit. I love that
Yeah.
so much.
The guy fucking like shutters his small business and turns around. It's a Spirit Halloween.
He goes back for a
He's like
job.
walking out. Yeah, he goes and fills out a job. Yeah.
Oh my god, it is great. And I'm gonna try to find at least one or two things new to watch. I keep saying that, but like I'm never gonna make it. I'm gonna keep finding things I love, like Bad Moon, Dog
Yeah.
Soldiers, good werewolf movies. Maybe
Hey,
the new Salem's Lot. I bet you. I would tell you this much for you. I will squeeze in the new Salem's Lot.
yeah. There's two more that I actually just bought the other day because I found cheap Blu-rays. One is called Bad Candy. It's set on Halloween and it's an
Yes,
anthology film. Have you seen that one?
I've not seen it, but I remember seeing the name of the movie and be like,
Yeah.
Band Candy Band. I used to do a
Bad
podcast
Candy.
about
Yeah.
Buffy, so
So it's
yeah,
it's
yeah.
basically like the disc jockeys are like the frame story and they tell these like short anthologies. And then there's
Mhm.
another one called The Witching Season, which is like a TV series,
Okay,
but it's like short episodes,
okay.
almost like webisodes, and there's like 4 or 5 on the disc. And so yeah, I'm gonna check those two out as well. And
Um,
Nightmare on Elm
so
Street. I just got the 4K of Nightmare on Elm Street today, delivered to my home in that fucking box set from the UK. I'm
yeah,
I'm I'm probably gonna fall asleep watching that tonight.
yeah. We have to go anyways because we're almost at we said
Yeah.
like 45 minutes on a good night. But thing is, like, and I'm glad you guys didn't see last episode, but like you could tell that I was just beaten into the ground. Like I just was not with it. And Jason was, always the fucking cheerleader and the guy that's
I threw you over my shoulder, man. No
you did,
man left behind. I was not gonna leave you
you did.
behind on those beaches to die. I was gonna fucking throw you over my shoulder and I was gonna run and carry you to safety.
But this episode is like 9/11. I carried my own weight. You knocked down that first tower. I knocked down the second tower. Teamwork,
Yes.
baby.
Teamwork. And
That's
then
fucking
somehow we both took
teamwork.
out Tower 7. No
I
one really
know.
knows. No one wants to talk about it, but you know what?
Oh man,
Somehow.
Jason. Just because there's a bunch of documents that prove that we owe trillions of dollars to someone does not mean it would just not fall down when there's a
Oh,
fire really far away from it.
yeah.
Jason, don't be
The
stupid.
Pentagon lost $7 trillion the day before, and oh man, we need to blow up the world.
Fucking whoopsie
Let's
doodles.
fucking nuke the towers.
Oh,
Whoopsies.
oh man, that would have made a much cooler fucking episode. Nuke the towers. So we're gonna call this a fucking
Yeah,
day
so
then.
I'm gonna say, look, I mean, I think we've achieved what we need to achieve um with today's discussion. And we did go a little longer than maybe we anticipated,
Meh.
but at the same time, I think this is a topic that is near and dear to our hearts. So, I will just say, for a little known, let's just leave on a recommendation. Let's try to recommend something new to the folks out there, something that's little known, like a lesser known horror film that you would like to recommend to the people. I'll start with Haunted, which is a film starring a young Kate Beckinsale from 1995. It is a
Yes.
phenomenal little film. It is only available on DVD in the United States. It's a terrible travesty, but you can import a European or an Australian Blu-ray fairly easily without spending too much money. And that is an excellent, like, haunted house ghost story. You can
Mm,
watch it year round, but it's great. I mean, obviously, we love ghost stories this time of year. So I'm going to
yes.
say go check out Haunted, starring a young and very attractive Kate Beckinsale.
In the thought of ghost movies, I would say go watch Pulse. It's another one of those Japanese rip off, kind of like the Ring
Oh
type of
yeah,
thing. But this one was cool. It had to do with technology. So there's Pulse, that's a pretty fantastic one. House
yeah,
on Haunted Hill, the 2000s remake, the late 90s, early 2000s remake. That's a good one.
yeah.
And if you're looking for a creature feature type situation, I'm gonna tell you Dog Soldiers, which was a film that had the producer of Aliens in it. It's about a bunch of soldiers that come across
Oh
a
yeah.
bunch of werewolves. Now, if you're looking for John Landis werewolves, you are not going to find that here, my friend, but you are going to see
Yeah.
pretty damn good looking built werewolves that are fucking hunting down humans. It's really, really cool.
I gotta check
It has
that
a
out.
lot to do with that pack mentality type situation. And Ginger Snaps, which is the OG, takes place at Halloween, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Werewolf movie about two sisters that get their periods for the first time.
Wonderful. I love it.
Mhm.
I'm a big fan of periods. So I
The
don't think you can end on a
1960s, the
better
70s.
I don't think you could end on a better note. So let me just play some music from Flesh Eater while we fucking bop out. Thank you guys for watching this episode. You filthy motherfuckers.